Hello and welcome to another video on YouTube channel of tutorialspedia.com. ChatGPT has become quite popular from the recent past after its evolution and widely adoption, and people from integration background, from development, from other fields, everyone is just talking about ChatGPT, and it has become like talk of the town. And the way ChatGPT and OpenAI is reshaping the whole process of implementing services and implementation of different softwares, integration and API related implementations are also not an exception. One of the major steps that as an integration architect or as an integration developer you have to look into was to create open API specifications, which is basically a blueprint of your APIs, and that explains how your REST API is going to be. Using different tools like Swagger Editor, Stoplight Studio, or even Postman, it's quite possible to create open API specifications, and some of these tools provide you very good, intuitive, and intelligent options with the auto creation of several components. But still, you need to understand certain things, syntax, and you need to understand how that particular tool is working, and that brings into a bit of complexity into this overall process of creating API specifications. But thanks to AI and thanks to ChatGPT, now defining your REST APIs has become very easy and convenient. And in this video tutorial, we will see that how we can use ChatGPT and create open API specifications. So let's look into the details of things that we are going to cover in this video tutorial. I'll be creating an API specification using ChatGPT, and the API specification that we will create will be called as tutorials API, and we will see how we can utilize the power of AI and use the power of ChatGPT to create this tutorials API specification with multiple endpoints, that's multiple paths. And in this way we will make this API specification in such a way that it supports multiple HTTP methods, and also we will see how we can use different formats, JSON format or YAML format, and we will be creating it with the version 3.0. And then we will also see that how we can use ChatGPT and instruct ChatGPT to just simply convert it into 3.1. So all this is going to be quite exciting and quite simple as well, contrary to the previous different videos that I created where I had to explain bit by bit using different tools how we create OpenAPI specification. But in this video you will see that the process becomes very easy and quite intuitive using this ChatGPT tool. Alright, I'm already logged into ChatGPT, and here we are going to provide the instructions to this ChatGPT, and based on our provided instructions or based on the request that we compose over here, ChatGPT with its OpenAI model is going to generate OpenAPI specifications as per our requirements. It is important to understand that ChatGPT will work according to the information that we provide according to our request. So if you provide your request in a proper manner, ChatGPT will understand it and it will create your OpenAPI specification accordingly. So you need to be concise, and you need to have a clear information, a clear request. Only then ChatGPT will provide you the required results in a proper format. So I will write here, please create OpenAPI specifications 3.0 in JSON format for tutorials API with below details. And I will provide details that tutorials endpoint to add and get multiple tutorials as an array. And I will write that I need another endpoint, tutorial endpoint with tutorial ID as path parameter with get, delete, put, post methods. So in this way I have requested ChatGPT to generate OpenAPI specifications in JSON format with two endpoints, and under those two endpoints, the first endpoint is to get multiple tutorials or to add multiple tutorials, so it should have get and post method, and the second endpoint should have get, put, post and delete methods with individual tutorial ID. So now you can see that ChatGPT is generating our required specifications. So we will have to wait for the generation of this complete specification, and then we will see how exactly it has created, and if we need to make any additional changes we can instruct, because ChatGPT maintains a history. So any next message we can ask that the JSON format specification that have been created, we want some specific change, and that's something ChatGPT will do on our behalf. So let's wait, and you can see that it is creating multiple methods, and it has already created 2 endpoints. Once it will complete, we will go with everything. Sometimes it stops in the middle, so you will have to click on continue generating so that it continues creating your OpenAPI specifications till the completion. So yeah, it continues. Sometimes it may be overloaded, because a lot of people are using this free version of ChatGPT. So you might expect some type of slowdown in the servers of ChatGPT, but that's fine. As long as it generates the required structure and it generates the required specifications or whatever we need, then we are good to go. So let's wait for the completion of this specs generation, and then we will analyze it. Okay, so now it has generated our OpenAPI specifications, and it has mentioned that this is just an example. Please adjust the files and properties based on your requirements. Of course, we just want to have the basic skeleton, and for any requirement that you have, you will always make the customizations as needed. So now let's have the analysis and overview of this specification. You can see it created OpenAPI with 3.0 because that's what we instructed to ChatGPT, and then it has info object and it has server object. Under the server, it has just generated a sample server, and then under the path, you see we have slash tutorials, under which we have get method, and get method is returning the tutorial object, and it has also it should have another post method. And important thing is that in the get object, if you see for the get method, it is returning an array, because what we have instructed is that we want to have OpenAPI specification which returns multiple tutorials in the response, and this is why it is having a type as array, and it is now referencing to tutorial object. We will see that this tutorial object should have been already created under the schemas, under the components, in the form of a schema. And then we have post, and if you see the post method, right now this post method is referencing to tutorial. The only thing is that we wanted to create multiple objects, but for now it has created it with only option to create a single tutorial. Of course, we can instruct ChatGPT to update this specification to allow multiple tutorials to be added in one request. In that case, it will just change this type to array. And then if you see the response, its response is 201. That's how post works, because 201 is a happy response, successful response for the post method. And then if you go down, we have tutorial slash tutorial id. Tutorial id is the path parameter here, and then it has get method to get a specific tutorial. Then it has put method to update a particular tutorial based on tutorial id, and then it has request body, which is tutorial object, and then we can see that it has delete method as well. And now if you go down and see the components, we have tutorial component, to which there are references for different methods, as we have already seen in the request or response of some specific methods. And it is of type object, and it has elements id, title, description, author, created at, updated at, and we can see some of these are required: id, title, description, author, created at, and updated at. Of course, in the real scenarios you can always modify it according to your requirements. And then we can see that this whole structure makes it one complete OpenAPI specification that we can use, or we can even customize it. And now if we instruct ChatGPT to convert it to OpenAPI 3.1, that's also possible. We can say that, can you please convert it to OpenAPI 3.1. So we will see that OpenAPI will be changed to 3.1 using this ChatGPT. So here you can see now it is just rewriting the whole of the specifications with 3.1 format instead of 3.0. So once this will be converted to 3.1, another thing that we will see here is that we will instruct ChatGPT to please convert it into YAML format instead of JSON format, because these are the two popular formats. Either you go with for the JSON based specifications or YAML based specifications. Majority of the tools support both of these, so that's not a problem, but it's just a matter of preference or maybe a matter of standardization in certain organization. So if you want to change it to another format, you can do that as well. So let's instruct ChatGPT that please convert this specification to YAML format. So now we will see that it will convert it. You can see here that it has already started converting it. So it has maintained the version of OpenAPI to 3.1 because that's what we did previously. And now if we are converting it to YAML format, it will still contain the specification in 3.1 format, but the structure will change from JSON to YAML. So this is how quite easily and conveniently you can generate your OpenAPI specifications using ChatGPT, and it doesn't require any rocket science, and it does all the magic just based on the input that you provide or the requirements that you provide. Just like in any organization, when you are implementing a software, the major thing is that you need to have proper requirements. Only then you can create a better software. So exactly same way, for ChatGPT to work, if you provide correct instructions, it will do the magic. But if you don't provide the correct instructions, or if your instructions are lagging or missing some information, that will reflect in the output as well. So make sure that whenever you use ChatGPT for this type of requirements, you provide all the information to ChatGPT so that it can use your inputs in a proper manner to generate the output. And also it's very important that you don't need to rely on the output of any of the AI tool blindly. Of course you will have to go through and you will have to make sure that it serves the purpose, otherwise you might need some customizations or some tweaking. That's how you end up creating a refined and well structured and acceptable specification for your requirement. That's it from this video. I hope that this video will help you to understand how you can use ChatGPT for creation of API specifications and other similar requirements. If you want to learn more about integration and other related technologies, visit my website tutorialspedia.com. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, any feedback, you can always write in the comment section. Thank you very much.